She's acting different, isn't she? You can feel it, something's off. She's distant, distracted, and you can't shake the thought that there might be someone else. Maybe you've ignored it, telling yourself it's just in your head. Maybe you've even thought, no, she'd never do that. But here's the hard truth, most men don't see it coming until it's too late. Infidelity doesn't start with a dramatic confession or an obvious betrayal, it begins in the small moments. The subtle changes. The things she used to do, but doesn't anymore. The things she never did, but suddenly does now. These signs are easy to dismiss, but ignoring them won't protect you. Today, we're breaking down the 5 worst signs your wife is cheating on you, and exactly what to do about it. No emotional reactions. No desperation. Just logic, self-control, and a mindset that puts you back in charge. Because a Stoic man doesn't crumble under betrayal, he sees it, he understands it, and he decides what comes next. Let's get started. 1. Sudden changes in behavior and attitude. Something's different about her. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you know it's there. The warmth she used to show? Gone. The little things she used to do for you? Stop. She's either cold, irritable, or worse, completely indifferent. And here's where most men get it wrong. They assume it's just stress or mood swings. But drastic shifts in attitude don't happen for no reason. Think about how she was in the beginning. She was engaged, affectionate, interested in your life. Now, it's like you're just there. This isn't just about feeling distant, it's about a complete emotional withdrawal. And when that happens, you have to ask yourself, what changed? Here's the brutal truth, when a woman starts emotionally disconnecting from you, it's usually because she's connecting with someone else. Women don't cheat because they're bored. They cheat because something feels missing, and instead of fixing it, they find it somewhere else. Red flags to watch for. Is she suddenly busy all the time? Does she get defensive when you ask simple questions? Does she seem annoyed when you try to get close? These aren't random behaviors. These are signs of emotional detachment. And once a woman starts pulling away, she rarely stops. The biggest mistake most men make. They chase. They beg for attention. They act desperate, trying to win her back. That only pushes her further away. What a Stoic man does instead. A Stoic man does not beg. He does not panic. He does not react. He observes. He collects information. And when the time comes, he acts, with logic, not emotion. If you confront her, do it with control, not anger. If she's pulling away, don't chase, pull back yourself. Distance reveals the truth. If she's cheating, she'll eventually expose herself. But whatever you do, never lose your self-respect. A cheating woman should never make you forget your own value. And this is just the first sign. The worst ones? They're still coming. If you're ready for the hard truths most men ignore, keep watching. But before we move on, do this right now, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because the next signs are the ones most men miss, until it's too late. Let's continue. 2. She's overly protective of her phone. A few months ago, she'd leave her phone lying around, face up, unlocked, no second thoughts. Now, it's always with her. Always locked. Always turned face down. And if you even glance at it, she reacts like you just committed a crime. This is not normal behavior. A woman who has nothing to hide, hides nothing. But when she starts treating her phone like it holds classified secrets, something's going on. And don't fall for the excuses. I just value my privacy more now. Why do you even care? Are you spying on me? Ugh, you're being paranoid. These aren't real answers. They're defensive deflections. A sudden change in phone behavior is one of the biggest red flags of infidelity. Why? Because cheating today doesn't start in person, it starts with texts, social media, and secret conversations. Ask yourself this. Has she started texting more but talking less? Does she smile at her screen, typing away, but freeze when you ask, "Who are you texting?" Do her energy and body language shift the second you walk into the room? Maybe she doesn't even realize she's doing it. But you do. Where most men go wrong. They start snooping, checking her phone, looking over her shoulder, trying to catch her in the act. That is a weak move. A Stoic man does not chase, does not beg, and does not spy. If you start snooping, you've already lost. Instead, ask her directly. I've noticed you've been really protective of your phone lately. Why is that? Then watch her reaction. Does she get overly defensive? Does she flip it back on you? Does she accuse you of not trusting her? That's not just a red flag. That's a screaming alarm. Because when people are guilty, they project. They act like you're the problem to avoid accountability. And if you think this is bad, wait until you hear the next sign. Because the moment she starts making mysterious plans that don't include you, things are about to get worse. Let's continue. 3. She's suddenly busy or has strange excuses. She used to make time for you. Now, she's always busy. Sudden business trips. Late nights at work. Last-minute plans with friends that she never mentioned before. And the worst part? Her explanations don't add up. I'll be home late, don't wait up. Since when? It was a last-minute thing. Really? It's just a work event. Why didn't you know about it? You feel it, something isn't right. Because let's be clear, people don't just become mysteriously busy overnight. If she used to include you in her plans, but now everything is suddenly private, something has changed. Here's what's happening. When a woman is emotionally or physically invested in someone else, she creates distance from you. Not just emotionally, literally. She needs space. Space to text him. Space to see him. Space to keep up the lie. And the excuses? They're carefully designed. Just believable enough to make you doubt yourself, but vague enough to keep you from asking questions. The real test, does she avoid giving details? When people lie, they don't give specifics. They keep things open-ended to avoid getting caught. If you ask, "Who was there?" and she just says, "Oh, just some people from work," triangular flag, red flag. If you ask, "What time will you be home?" and she says, "Not sure," don't wait up, triangular flag, another red flag. A woman in love wants to share her life with you. If she's no longer doing that, it's not because she's suddenly an introvert, it's because she's hiding something. Where most men screw up. They press too hard. They demand details. They interrogate. They try to catch her in a lie. But a Stoic man? He doesn't waste his energy decoding half-truths. He lets her inconsistencies reveal themselves, because liars always slip up. Pay attention to patterns, not just words. If she's acting distant, disappearing more often, and her stories don't add up, there's a reason. And the next sign? It's even worse. Because when a woman starts losing interest in you completely, it's not just emotional detachment anymore. It's a sign she's already moved on in her mind. Let's talk about it. 4. She's no longer interested in you. Think back to how she used to be. She asked about your day. She cared about your thoughts, your plans, your opinions. Now, she barely looks up from her phone. She barely listens. She barely acknowledges you. At first, you tell yourself she's just tired, stressed, or busy. But deep down, you know better. She's checked out. This isn't just a bad mood or a rough patch, this is emotional detachment. And when a woman emotionally detaches, it's because she's attaching to something or someone else. The brutal truth most men ignore. Women don't leave physically first, they leave mentally. The moment she stops caring, stops putting in effort, stops even noticing you, she's already made a shift in her mind. Red flags to watch for. She doesn't ask about your life anymore. She doesn't laugh at your jokes. She doesn't even argue, just shrugs and walks away. Here's what's happening. She's pulling away. And whether she realizes it or not, she's preparing for the next step. Women don't just wake up one day and decide to cheat. It happens gradually, through emotional disconnection. The biggest warning sign? Physical intimacy disappears. She avoids kissing you. Avoids being close. Maybe even avoids eye contact. And when you try to initiate, she acts annoyed. A woman who is faithful wants to connect with her man. A woman who is checked out wants distance. Where most men go wrong. They panic. They try to force connection. They buy gifts. They do more, thinking it will fix things. But a Stoic man? He does the opposite. He doesn't chase. He doesn't beg. He doesn't try to force what's already gone. Instead, he pulls back too. He focuses on himself. He stops giving energy to someone who has already withdrawn hers. Because a man who values himself does not stay where he is no longer respected. And if you think this is bad, the next sign is even worse. Because when a woman starts blaming you for things you didn't even do, when she starts accusing you of the very thing she's guilty of, that's when you know you're dealing with a full-blown betrayal. Let's talk about it. 5. She starts accusing you for no reason. Suddenly, you're the bad guy. Everything you do is wrong. She picks fights over nothing. She twists your words. And the worst part? She accuses you of the very thing she's guilty of. Why are you acting so distant? Even though she's the one pulling away. Are you seeing someone else? Even though she's the one acting suspicious. I just don't feel like I can trust you anymore. Even though she's the one being secretive. This is called projection, and it's one of the biggest psychological red flags of infidelity. When someone feels guilty, they offload that guilt onto you. They flip the script to make you question yourself, instead of questioning them. Where most men fail. They fall into the trap. They start defending themselves. They start explaining. They start proving their innocence. And that's exactly what she wants. Here's what you need to understand. A woman who is faithful does not need to create fake problems. A woman who respects you does not gaslight you into thinking you're the one at fault. So why does she do this? Because guilt makes people paranoid. She knows she's crossing a line, so she starts assuming you might be too. She knows she's hiding things, so she becomes hypersensitive to your actions. It's classic guilt-driven behavior. Here's the test. Does she accuse you with no proof? A woman who genuinely feels insecure in a relationship asks questions, seeks reassurance, wants to feel closer. But a woman who is guilty, she throws out accusations with zero evidence, hoping you'll react emotionally. She wants you to get defensive. She wants you to lose your cool. She wants you to start proving your innocence, so you stop focusing on her behavior. What a Stoic man does instead. He does not argue with false accusations. He does not beg for approval. He does not engage in emotional manipulation. Instead, he watches. He listens. And he lets her guilt expose itself. And if all 5 of these signs are adding up, it's time to face reality. Because here's the real question. What do you do next? Do you confront her? Do you leave? Do you try to fix things? Most men get it wrong. So let's talk about what to do when your suspicions are confirmed. So, you've seen the signs. Now what? You've watched her change. You've seen the red flags. And now, you're left with one question. What do I do now? Most men react emotionally. They yell, they beg, they demand answers. They think that if they just get the truth, they'll feel better. But here's the harsh reality. Knowing doesn't change what already happened. The betrayal is done. Now, it's about how you respond. What a Stoic man does. A Stoic man does not let anger control him. He does not let pain define him. He accepts reality as it is. If she's cheating, she's already made her choice. Now, it's time for you to make yours. You have three options. Do you confront her? Only if it serves a purpose. Do you try to fix things? Only if she takes full accountability. Do you walk away? If she has no respect for you, then yes. The bottom line. A strong man does not stay where he is not valued. Yes, betrayal is painful. But it's also a moment of clarity. It shows you exactly where you stand. And sometimes, the most powerful move you can make is walking away with your dignity intact. Now, let's talk. Have you ever noticed any of these signs in your relationship? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. And if you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because here, we don't sugarcoat the truth. Stay strong. Stay grounded. And never let betrayal break you.